Hey guys, this is Obi-Wan Hold Obi. Just wanted to help you guys see the levels that I'm looking for. So this is for Team Moonshot. This video is based in response on someone discussing how to draw levels on charts, and this is a chart I've been watching for a while, and I thought I'd give you guys some insight into how I do my levels. So one of the first things I do is I always come out to the monthly chart, always go from a higher time frame down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be setting up some levels here where I want to see where price reacted in previous times before a major move. So you can see here, this was way back in 09. There was a massive move at this price level that forced price to move all the way up, came all the way down, found support at that level, went all the way back up, came back down, broke below, and you can see here pop 1, pop 2, and we're currently on the third leg. So this looks like it's acting as support, and this is in current day. So this would be a good indication that we are likely for a move up. So the question is where is it that we might be looking up from? And actually, if you guys remember from the pictures that I posted, this looks just like SNDL, but this is obviously just a much higher time frame, which means that the move is going to be a lot bigger. Okay, so now let's pull. All right, so let's make sure that this is labeled as a monthly chart. Okay, next what I'll do is I'll make a copy of that, and I'm going to look to see where did price, where was their prior resistance, prior support, prior resistance, prior support, resistance, 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 support, right? So this looks like a fairly strong line. If I want to make it a little more accurate, I can come right out to the most recent area of buying and selling, and the opens and closes of these candles oftentimes will dictate strong levels of buying or selling. It's places where there's going to be a lot of orders, and this looks like a pretty good place. Now, one little trick that I do is that if price is below this line, rather than putting it at a support level, oftentimes I'll try to put it at like a resistance level. So I might choose maybe this resistance here, okay, because price is often going to reach towards resistances. And so that'll give you kind of an idea of where price is going to go. Okay, so right now, I've just created the trading range that I think is most probable based on this situation. Why? Because I'm looking at the monthly chart, so each candle represents a month. I now have a major level of support that was broken, was tested once, tested twice, and now has been found as support. So that means that if price ever comes back to this 120 area, which I'm not sure if it will at this point, but if it ever did, you'd want to load up big, okay? And again, this is the trading range, and actually you can see that this is the trading range because in the most recent price action, you can see that this prior resistance was tested as resistance and sent back down. So now that we have officially entered the range and we're now in this range low, we're looking for the range high. So the question is where can we go and find longs in here? And so that's where we're going to kind of go down and start looking at our weekly charts. Okay, so again, just looking at our price action. I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines. Again, I like looking for places where there was prior resistance, right? Here's prior support, okay, which turned into prior resistance, resistance. Oh, and take a look. That level was tested as support, broke right through. Okay, so that's going to be an important level. Let's see. This is also going to be an important level over here. Prior support, broke through, prior resistance, resistance, resistance. It was tested as resistance one more time. So let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 taps. The next time that this thing comes up here, it is going to break through. Now again, these are weekly charts. So it's very likely, since this is being rejected, that it's going to come down to a particular level. All right, so that's sort of our trade idea. We see that there's prior resistance, prior support. It's been tested as resistance multiple times. The more times that something was tested as resistance, what that means is that there's going to be less sellers, right? There was a bunch of sellers here. They're laughing. They're making all this money. Price came back up. They started getting fearful. They started reshorting. They went up here. They probably closed a bunch of their shorts, got excited, started shorting again, shorting, coming back down. So now, again, they're shorting again here. But the next time price comes here, there's not going to be many sellers. So this is an indication that we want to be buying. And again, this looks just like that SNDL chart, but just on a much higher time frame. But if you see it on a higher time frame, that means the price level is going to go much higher. So here's the first one, second breakthrough, and now we're in this trading area. So how do we find a place to buy? So going down to the daily now, what I'm looking for is I'm looking where was their prior support, where was their prior resistance. Okay, so look, there's some prior support here, prior resistance, 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 broken through, tested as support, 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 broken through, resistance versus resistance. So I think this is probably the best place to put my line. Someplace around here. Now to be a little bit cheeky, again, if price is above your area of support, let's also mark this down as a daily support. And this one I believe is a weekly support. So now, I'm just trying to check to see if this is the level that I want. Okay. And remember that these levels are kind of ranges, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that this specific price point is the most important, but just that something within this range is going to be important. So when price comes down to this 180 marker, we're going to buy and we're going to load up big because of all this prior action that happened. If it came down to 125, which is possible, I don't think it will, then we are going to load up even bigger. Okay, so as price goes down, we want to be getting into a larger position. As price is going up parabolically, we want to be getting out of our position. Okay, so we've already kind of set the stage for why this thing is going to be making a move up. Okay, so again, really basic. We have a low, a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Notice how this did not come lower than the prior candles. So the next best place for us to go, if it is to remain as a higher high, is at least a test of this $4 mark, and most likely a test of that 7. And if it were to break all those, we're probably looking at probably someplace up here around that $12 mark. Okay, if it were to break all those, and if it were to break those, it could certainly continue up. Okay, so we have our trade idea. We know that it's a bullish case. How do we decide where we're going to buy? We already went down into our daily levels. We have this daily level, which we can now change this to say that not only is it a daily, or this is also a buy zone. Now, one way that I remind myself that this is a buy zone is I use these green boxes, right? So sometimes you see green and red boxes in my charts, and what that is that's just a way to indicate to me where I should be buying. So on the daily, there really wasn't a clear place for me to place my zone. So I'll go out to the weekly, and what I see is I see this red, or I call it, it's a black candle for me, but I see this red candle, and what that candle is going to do, I don't know why that line's so thick. This candle, the reason why this candle is important is because this is the last time that smart money was buying at this price to make the price go up so high. So what that means is that if smart money were to come, if the price were to come down here again, they are going to bid again. So what I'm looking for is some time and space between when price went up here to when price came back down. As you can see, now in the daily, you can see that there is some time that's going to pass before this hits. So this might take a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to hit, but when it does, we want to make sure that we're loading up here. And how do we decide where to sell? Well, maybe one of the first few places is, this one would be our target one, but again, I think that will get broken through this next time, no problems. I have a feeling that this one will also get broken through, just because there was almost zero resistance there before, and it just broke right through. So I don't think this is a very strong level. So we can maybe indicate that this is a bit of a weak level. All right, but certainly a place where you could take profit, and that 720 would be another place. And if you want a moon bag, you can go up to that. Where was that monthly chart? Up to around that 1250 area. So I mean that would be a big reach, But if you want a nice safe place to put some additional sells, that would be a nice safe place. And again, it's for that same reasoning. This is the last bullish candle prior to a move down. So that means that there were people here who went long, that when the price comes back, they're going to want to sell to break even. There are people here who shorted this, who they want to protect their short. So when price comes back here, they're going to want to short it. So there's going to be a lot of buying and selling happening that happens here. You'll probably also see a lot of buying and selling that's going to happen here too. Okay, so there's two zones that you could be selling into. And again, if you kind of look, you are going to find those same sorts of zones in lots of places, right? So here's another zone. You can see how they reacted. Now this one isn't so strong because you can see just blasted through it. So I'm going to take that one off, right? And also you notice that coordinated with our weak level. So I would probably even just take this off, for me personally, for the way that I chart. So that's a quick rundown of how I would maybe run down a chart. We now have an idea of when we should be getting into this chart, seeing that we had a low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and at the very least we should expect another test of this $3. I would definitely say probably the $4 range, and potentially even higher.